All right. Well, we are live here. Well, not actually, we're not live. We're recording this. And the reason being is because we're in an old building. Like, how old is this building anyway?
I think the original structure across the street says 1890. This is Tyler Village down in Midtown, Cleveland. And this part is just a fresh new building built in, I think, 1918. yeah. Well, it's 100 years old, easily.
Yeah. So because the signal didn't want to cooperate, we're just going to get a clean copy, and we're going to upload this on YouTube, and we'll also upload this right to Tuesday at 7. So we appreciate you guys sticking with us.
Fantastic.
If you did not see the first part, right, we drew the winner from last week, but what we revealed is the giveaway for next week.
It's exciting. Yeah.
So if you share this, and whether it's at the very bottom of the Facebook page, there's a share button, it's an arrow. When you press that, we know it. And if you press the share button, your name will be put in a drawing next week. Mm-hmm. And if your name is drawn, you want to go ahead and reveal a little bit about this
this is a mermaid, as you can tell. And it's kind of inspired from the family trips we took to Sanibel and Captiva. And I would, there's no way that you can't go there and not be inspired by shells or by the ocean or the tales of mermaids. Yeah. So I did this for my wife. I did the original. And then a few people have said, can I get a print of that? So this is a giclée print. And it's on some good heavy watercolor paper, and I hand colored into it, so it's kind of a second original. And there, look on the back.
Yeah, and back.
It says
it's signed
and hand enhanced. Original giclée.
Yeah.
Which is a French word. If in case this goes to France, giclée.
And it probably will go to France. Show it to your French friends.
Yes, French people love mermaids. Giclées. So anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. This is your show.
So the great part is, as Beth and I walked in, it felt as though it was kind of a reveal. Like that door went to the side, and we walked into what feels to me like kind of a utopia studio. It almost feels, gallery-like at some point, because there's a lot of work that probably people walk in and go, I'm interested in buying some of your work. And
they do come in here, and I do have to tell people sometimes that if it is a gallery, it's one of the most chaotic galleries, because stuff is stacked, mounted down. Yeah. But it's not really a gallery, but it's as I work on stuff, I put it aside, and this is my workspace that's been filled. Oddly enough, when I first came in here, I was doing some film stuff, and I found this as a location, and it's about 2,500 square feet. And the first thing I said after I kind of rented it was, geez, man, I don't need this much space, because I was doing little things. Quickly, I filled it with, stuff, because I need the space to do the big work I'm doing, and I think, Beth, you saw my work at Chula. That's my little plug for Chula, but it's, that stuff's big work. It's like 14 foot, 16 foot. And I do it here. So I need the kind of the room. Also, it's the kind of space where the landlords here at Tyler Village don't care that I'm destroying the place. Somebody did say, "Oh man, Cleveland's changing. These are gonna be like condo and lofts someday." And I'm like, well, then just kind of keep the floor as it is. It's paint covered. It's kind of cool. I think it'd be a cool floor.
Yeah.
But that's the space, and I'm glad you guys like it.
Oh yeah, we love it. And I know one thing: there's gonna be a lot of folks that are watching that'll like it, love it too.
Yeah.
For those who are watching, we're not live, so we can't answer your questions live. But if you put those questions in the comment section, we can go ahead and get back to those. And even if you have a couple resources, just go. This is where you find my work, or this is my these are my other socials. We'll go ahead and put those up too, so people can just click into them and get into those as well.
That's fantastic, because some of these people do say, like, what are your hours? I don't know. I'm here sometimes at midnight. I'm here. I don't think I'm ever here at 7 a.m. That's a guarantee. I don't know. Do some artists that you've interviewed, do any of them get up at 7 or 8 and work at like 8?
Probably not a single one, unless it's an all nighter and they're just like finishing out,
wrapping up. Yeah, they're having like their last drink or something. But it's yeah, you know, I work late, and I like to work late. It gets really quiet here. It's the ghosts of the building emerge. No, there's no ghosts here, but I sometimes think there are. There's got to be one.
There's got to be one, and it's very noisy, and there's unexplainable things going on.
It's an elevator factory, so it's got to be like, you know, somebody working on something. But yeah, so I don't really have hours like that. If you you know, want to contact me, anybody's welcome to come here and just, you know, let me know, and we'll open the door for you. The reveal.
You'll get the reveal as well. Now, as I've been kind of walking around, and because we got interrupted going live, I had noticed the puppets, and you started walking us over there, and take a stare again. Yeah,
I will. There's a couple here, but see, yo, hey, it's Cleveland. You gotta love it. This happens a lot.
Yeah,
just parades of motorcycles and lowriders. I don't know what they are. Anyway, let's walk to the puppets because you might find this interesting.
Oh yeah.
This way. We'll walk past machinery, and be careful, Beth. I don't need you falling here. I don't need you falling. But these are, you know, Roger mentioned the puppets, but this is some of them, and this is some of the ones that I've done for Nickelodeon, MTV, Comedy Central. I did a couple shows like the Amanda Show, Kablam from the 90s. And in the 90s, this guy was on a Nickelodeon. He was basically just a guy who he just threw up. That's all he really did. He had indigestion, so he was made just to do that. Here's my father. Hey, what the heck, Tommy? You don't listen to nobody. You're going to go broke. That's him there. Only his mouth would move because it's stop motion. You know, it's not like a marionette or a hand puppet. These guys are wired so you can kind of like move them, click 2 frames, move them, click 2 frames, and they just kind of like, they move around.
Now, was that inspired by your father?
Oh yeah. Okay. Even my mother. It's like, me. You go to college 4 years, still stupid. That was one of her lines. So I started using my family in some of the stuff that I was doing, not for Nickelodeon, for like MTV, Comedy Central. And back in the 90s, they let weirdos on do television. I'm not saying I'm a weirdo, but there was a lot of people that I met that were artists on the edge of insanity doing animation. I think they stopped that practice. After a while, they were like, that's guys, the 90s are over. Time to let's shut the door and not let those weirdos in. But it was a great time to pitch ideas and create work. This guy was for MTV. It was for a thing on. He's like a Hasidic, and he's building like it's about religious symbolism, and he builds like a star, and there's somebody else builds a cross, and then eventually it's all torn down and it's made a peace sign. I know it sounds a little hippie like, but it was it was the 90s. It was the 90s, man. The 90s were the new 60s, but it was I kind of miss those days. And these are Banana Splits puppets I did. But if you go on, if anybody wants to Google Emmett Freedy, my name, Tom Megalis, Emmett Freedy, or Nickelodeon, there's a couple forums where people go, I think they're probably in their 20s now, late 20s, and they say things like, this cartoon gave me the worst nightmares. This is the creepiest cartoon ever done. And then sometimes I'll get on the thing and go, thank you. I really oh my gosh. And I have 3 kids. They never were freaked out by my work. So I always say that, like, kids, get tougher. Puppets are nothing to mess with.
Now your big personality has certainly probably provided some opportunity, right? Because you are not afraid to get up and have fun.
Yeah, right? Well,
provide some comic relief to your artwork, and
it's kind of therapy in a way. Well, I first came to Cleveland. I did a radio show here. I was on MMS for, a lot of people don't know that because it was a blip on, but I used to do, like stuff in Pittsburgh on a great station there called WDVE, called whatever. It's WDVE, great station. Yeah. And some of my friends worked there. And so I'd do characters on there. And then that led to somebody saying, hey, there's a job opening in Cleveland at MMS. You could do the same stuff. Yeah, for a while, but then then it clamped down. I don't think some stuff we were doing then you could even do. I know you can't do it now.
Yeah.
No, the characters were really pushed. In fact, I think I remember a couple meetings going, we got to go further. We got to do the most just disgusting, insulting characters that we can't. We got to get shut down. I remember saying those words.
Yeah.
And then it was like, wow, okay, well, that's not radio now. But it was fun. It was a blast. Yeah. So that, I did that. And then that led me to do, oh my gosh. I mean, I did, I've done stand-up. I've done films. I've made a lot of experimental films I've been in and stuff. Yeah, it's all, it's all the same, Roger, isn't it? I mean, you've talked to so many people. It's just making stuff. It's not really any different. I mean, people always think, oh, you do this. No, it's just all making stuff. Really?
Yeah. And sometimes I think if you're blessed at flipping that switch, let's say you flip it into the creative mode, that it transfers. It transfers to puppets, to film, to painting, to theater,
standing on a stage,
to singing, to comedy.
It's all the same. Sorry, I don't know if you hear these people in the background. It's like, freedom for artists. Oh, I think some artist is out there screaming that he wants equality or something. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. Welcome to the neighborhood, guys.
Yeah, we're here to solve the world problems.
Right? I think we're doing it. Yeah. But I'm glad you bring that up because I think that, I have 3 kids. You have kids.
You have 4, right?
4 kids. So that it's like teaching them, it's just language, man. It's communication. Yeah. That's all it is. Whether you're drawing or you're standing up on a stage. The only reason I got into kind of live comedy stand-up is that I had no money to make films at that point. So it's like, wow, you could just kind of stand on a stage and do it for nothing. It's like cheap production because you don't really, there's a real craft to it and there's amazing comedians that take it to a real high level, but I viewed it as just another place to communicate ideas. So there's no reason I think, if you don't have money or you don't need money to make stuff really. Yeah. You don't need money to do comedy or to write a play or to even make art. Some of this, there's a painting behind you and some of these things are on like canvas that I have found or that's been repurposed or it's like you can spend a lot of money on materials or you don't have to. Yeah. I walk around the railroad tracks in Cleveland sometimes and find beautiful pieces of metal. And I'm like, oh, this is perfect. Yeah. And it's free.
Yeah.
Except probably owned by a hobo. But I take it from the hobo.
Poor hobo.
Poor hobo.
Poor hobo.
Well, you know what? The hobo's just got to learn to run a little fast. Yeah, hobo, don't leave it down. Yeah. So, but anyway, those are puppets. And this is just more art.
Yeah, give us a
what do you want to hear?
Point us in the direction of things that you're like, you know what? Here's some of the work that I think is important to you, or that others have called out as important to them. There's so much work here.
It's like not that this is like that important, but this is kind of a self-portrait of me, which is all built from pieces that or that I found at my house. Yeah. My mother was like, she had left the house. She was, leaving. The house was empty. And father and mother still have passed away since then. But I only took things from the house that were like I liked or I could use, or I wasn't taking like, oh, I could take this big couch. It's like, or stuff that I knew that would, this is like keys that my dad had. Like he likes skeleton keys. He's like, you'd collect them. I'm like, how many skeleton keys do you need? He had like a box of them. I'm like, he goes, they fit every door here. I'm like, all right, we don't. So I took some of the skeleton keys, and is that what they're still called? Skeleton keys?
I think, yeah, they sure are.
And then some recipes my mother had comic book I took from my attic, old burlap, a brush that she used to use, a hinge my dad had for part of the shed. And I just kind of put it together as a portrait. And yeah, and it's I didn't even paint it because I thought paint disrupts it. Yeah. But now that's not typical. I throw paint around, but I like finding stuff and kind of continuing the history of it.
Yeah.
And also, it's like, man, you find some amazing things along the railroad tracks or along, just it's stuff that you kind of go, wow, I can't believe that this is here, and what a great piece it will be for this art.
You're gonna rescue it, and you're going to incorporate it into something. Yeah,
and then maybe the spirit continues.
Yeah,
but so I don't know. I mean, I love doing stuff like that, and I do it in a lot of the big art that I do, even the commission work that I do. Because you were asking me before about look, there's applause out there. There's a baseball game going on. I mean, there's theater. There's protesters. There's everything's on the streets of East 36th Street in Superior.
Yeah.
But you were asking me about just how things evolved or how they began, and I always say that I bridge commercial work as well as fine art, because you can't just rely on I don't think just make, because this is all I do. This is and I have been doing this full time for 10 years or plus 15. But that's all I do. So you kind of find ways to throw down your stuff and improvise and create, and then other ways that your work can be applied to commercial work, like the stuff I do for Chula, and I'm doing a book cover right now, and I do commission work that kind of, it's some people don't like it because it's like, oh, it's art for hire. That's not, but no, you have to do that. I think if you want to kind of have a career in this, and somebody watching might want to have a career in art.
Yeah, right.
You have to be versatile and also bend a little bit. It can't just be, this is all I'm doing. It's just my vision. I think you may be starving a little bit. You're going to have some hard times.
Yeah.
You'll have hard times regardless.
Right.
But why bring them even harder when there's a lot of ways to apply your work? As you just mentioned before, that whether you're putting it on stage or you're putting it in a film or you're putting it on canvas, and yeah, man, there's no reason. It's not, what is it? What do they call not OCD, but what's the other stuff? It's like when you're just, you can't, they used to call it jack of all trades, master of none. Right. But I think it's good to know a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
And explore.
You had mentioned that you had a formal education over at Pittsburgh, right? And I really love Pittsburgh. I mean, there's a couple times that
Pittsburgh's amazing.
Weekends. You go there for the creative stuff.
Oh,
tell us about that. How that education, helped get to maybe the style and where you're at now, or perhaps you had to learn it to unlearn it later, or what are your observations on that? Yeah.
Oh, what's weird is that when I was drawing and painting, that's kind of what I did early on as a kid. And then I showed that portfolio. I had no idea about, what department I was going to go into. Yeah. I didn't know. And so I went into design, but really was more of a painter. But I was in design, and I thought, oh, this is, how's this going to work? And it almost didn't. But then I realized that the kind of the education of design and that working with type, which I love now, and it gave me this love of type, shape, kind of play. So school, I think, that was the great part about it, but also the other part of it was just the socialization. The fact that we were insane people all in one building. I went to Carnegie Mellon, and even my friends to this day that I keep in touch with, I've often said, I think we'd be kicked out day one now. Right. I mean, they wouldn't have tolerated. Oh my God, I can't even get into some. It was borderline illegal. We would make films and shoot shotguns in the buildings. Things that were like wouldn't go. But that type of camaraderie and back and forth, and also learning to work and learning to think.
Yeah.
And it's almost like I played football as a kid. And I always view that's the reason why I kind of am more disciplined. Mm-hmm. And school does that, I think, too. Yeah. If you go to school, you become disciplined, because I'm telling you what, I think to make a living as an artist, and you've interviewed a lot of people, you need discipline, and you need commitment and discipline more than talent. Sometimes you have to just be disciplined to get in there every day. It's hot in here. You better work hours. It's projects failing. Keep going. Start again. It didn't work out. Do it again. It's that discipline that I think you learn in school and learn playing sports and learn it maybe in the penitentiary. I was never in the penitentiary, but I'm sure there are some very talented prisoners.
Exactly.
I mean,
I
I think there are.
The whole discipline thing, I think, is perhaps insanity, mania, or discipline. Pushes artists, to produce in a maddening way. You're always making stuff.
It's obsessive. Yeah. I think you also need that. It's like, why do you do it? I also have one little trick that some artists can learn. I do this. Maybe you do this. You guys, Beth, I don't know. But it's like you guys might do this. And here it is. It's like I sometimes will work late at night and start something and then leave. So there's something the next day to go, oh, I got to get back to that. I never finish something at night or during the day. I try to always start something new. So it's like you think about it in the morning, you're like, I gotta lay some bread into that. It pulls you back to here. It's a little trick. It's always like, and I think all artists you've interviewed, so you guys know you're creative, that we sort of are never satisfied. It's never right. Like as soon as you're done with something, you're like, next. And then,
so you got to finish it. You got to move on to the next one. And probably rarely go back to it. Or do you go back to work?
Oh, I have. I love this yelling in the background. It's like, come on! It's like a rugby team. Just start. Like tonight, they decided to start a rugby team here on East 36th because they sound like they're British or something. So let's go and go to the goal. What's happening here? That's what's beautiful about Cleveland, man. Cleveland's got a lot of texture, man. I love Pittsburgh. It's it was home for me for many, many years.
It's not Cleveland,
but it's but Cleveland they're way different too. Amazing people here, and a lot of great artists, and a lot of creative people in rugby, constant rugby. But it's I don't even know what you're talking about. We were talking about something it
was the discipline, right? It was but I'm standing in front of this work, which I really kind of like. So give us
you did on this one here? This is weird. This started out as it's always one thing. I heard a story, like people were like, Tom, you should golf. Golfing's what you should be doing. And then I got kicked off a golf course once. I never I like golf carts. And I never but then somebody told me a story. They're like, oh man, here, you like stories. Here's one. There was this fight that I heard about, and I think it was at a Pittsburgh golf course, because it was a Pittsburgh guy told me this. And he said it was a fight broke out on the 9th hole, and the guy got hit on a club with his own clubs, and it was over a thing. And then I went, what? It was a fight? I go, did you get a video? No, but I heard. And then so that day I started kind of like noodling around with just a fight. It's called Incident on the 9th hole. And, it started with shapes and just kind of like the action of it's borderline abstract, but the
texture. Here you see one part of it, but the texture, the layering,
stuff. If you look at these are nerd art games. You might love them, people might love, but there's like this sort of negative stuff that's these shapes that are kind of playing, and it's like the goal is to try to have it work that way through the whole thing, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes there's areas that kind of you go, man, that just didn't work as well. But I like shape games. So there's a lot of shape games here, and some found object stuff, little hangers.
Your design coming out too.
It's the
design coming out, right? Man, you needed that foundation.
Absolutely. Yeah. So to your point, nothing's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Whatever you experience in your life, if it's you go, well, I spent 10 years in I told you I worked in advertising and directing it taught me a lot.
Yeah.
And I use it sort of as storytelling. And so, yeah, there were times when I wish I was painting. I wish I was doing my own work. And but nothing is a waste. You just use it, man.
Yeah.
You use it. So whatever you're doing. And I always get people the excuse and they'll say man, I don't have the right materials, or man, if I was only in New York or something. You're like, man, don't make excuses. You're in Akron. Make art. Talk. Go get some rubber. Yeah. or use what you got. Use where you are.
Yeah.
Because that's where you are, man. And it's all good. It's all So I don't know. I don't like excuses. I just like So yeah.
Just get it done. Now,
get it done.
Is this a piece of work that you came back to, or did you complete it, finish it, and just go, okay?
That was no. I did come back to it because I had it I colored more. So there are times, man, that's a real interesting thing because sometimes you'll do something, put it online, put it out there. It's like nothing. You won't get any response, or you're like, man, that's not really working. Nobody really. And you might do one thing. Here's another example of that. I did a whole Pegasus series of all these horses, and I just isolated just the head, and someone's like, yeah, I love that. And it's and I literally just cut the rest of it off. I just said, well, the rest of that doesn't work. Only that part works. And I actually sliced the painting and just used that part.
Yeah.
So it's funny. I mean, someone honestly may love just that and not get the whole thing, but I wouldn't cut this, but I have gone back. Oh yeah, you go back. Whoa, something fell down here. What happened? The wind's blowing. The rugby team has gone crazy.
Tell me, because it takes, should I say, is it fair to say decades to develop a style, or to learn how to create jazz with a paintbrush and with it? I mean, does it take that long for somebody to go, I can go in and I work, or is that something that you think that people find that style or early?
Maybe Basquiat found his exploded early,
right? Brilliant,
was able. I think that I think I said this not long ago. I mean, my kids are all kind of art, but the two are like painters.
Yeah.
And I was doing something, and my son's like, "Oh man, you're having fun there." And I go, "Yeah." I said, "I've never had more fun, and I've never been better than I am now."
Yeah.
And mostly because you can control it more. When you're young, you're just finding it, and you're like, "Oh man, it's constant struggle to get it." It's not connecting what your brain wants to do to the hand and to it's sort of. But as you do it over and over and over, I mean, is that muscle memory? Is that like LeBron James can hit 30, 40 shots?
Yeah.
I mean, you do it over and over and over and over, and you finally it's like typing a script. If you're can't type, and you're and the typing is in the way of, but once you learn, you can do it. And the same, I think, with painting or art, the actual tools aren't getting in the way. You're just you're throwing it down, and it's more direct connection. Or Roger, think of this. It's maybe your brain is more out of the way.
Yeah.
It's like as you get older, as you do more, you're you step away. You're just go, react, go.
Less cerebral, more core.
Because that'll kill you, man. If you're going, geez, if I don't know about that mark there, this green, I don't know. If you're thinking about everything or overthinking it or questioning it, you're doomed. You're not going to, Yeah.
The work here is stunning. I mean, I love these pieces, the three-dimension here.
We got a band starting. Beth, can you hear the band now?
Yeah.
The rugby team is left. Now it's halftime. It's halftime show. That's it's Taylor Swift. Well, spelled differently. It's Cleveland's Taylor. Swift. But this is a great street because there's a lot of that going on. Yeah. But yes, the stage stuff that I did. This is kind in the theater. It's kind of that's what that is. I like to make things that feel like they're a stage set. You know, like kind of like this is based on a real story. My son, it happened to him in New York when he's living in Brooklyn, and it was very traumatic for him. But there was somebody that was just a crazy sick guy down the hall who would make noise and have problems, and his TV was over, and Nick would check on him, but the door would be open, and he said it was just a disaster. It was a New York disaster, and the way he explained it. So I started drawing this thing, and I felt it. You know, I wanted to kind of make him. It felt like it was a stage set, almost like you could film this or make a puppet of it or something.
Paintings, puppets. You got like a
hot dogs, hamburgers.
Hot dog. I mean, there was it like a Subway character?
I did commercials for Pizza Pan.
For Pizza Pan. Oh, I love Pizza Pan back in the day. Are they even around anymore?
Did you love Pizza Pan?
They were. Was it like a $4 pizza?
But I remember it, and I haven't heard that.
You don't know if you like a $2.99 pizza. I think a pepperoni pizza.
It's like $1 pizza.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the great Fred Peters, who I love, founded Pizza Pan in Cleveland. Great guy, and he said, "Do you want to do some do that crazy?" He let me do these animations. And it was like, you know, this guy, he's like, there's a rib guy and a pizza guy. And they're like, one of the commercials was, everything's half off. And, you know, and he's like, yeah, it's half off. And, you know, and the ribs is like, it's not ribs too. And he goes, ribs too, Rocco. And he's like, oh no. And they were just like, I don't know if it sold pizza, but Fred let me do it.
Yeah. And you had fun and you still had.
Yeah.
Tell us about this guitar. I mean, So this is found items.
To found it, yeah, man. You know
this is a great piece.
Oh, thanks, man. You know, I'm glad you like the stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. Hey, listen, you know, it's not for everybody. I know that. That's why there's a lot of artists and a lot of different kinds of art because, you know, people have different tastes,
right?
And it's like, you know, I make stuff that I like, but I also like other stuff where I go, man, look at that beautiful finish on that oil. And you know, and I can appreciate it and love it. I just don't do that.
Yeah.
But it's like there's thank you for liking it. But that is a found object. The story behind that, there was a show in Pittsburgh. it was. I mean, it's that old. This piece is from the 90s.
Okay.
And it was.
That's not that old.
Well, I'm just saying. Now you don't want to say it. It's like this piece is from the 1930s. I made that with Robert Johnson but it was the 90s. It was just a couple days ago, but I kind of feel that way too.
Yeah,
you know? It's like, but it's so it was a show of some artists, and we're having a show at Metropole there, which was in Pittsburgh in the Strip District, and I said, I'd like to be part of that show, and I'll make something special for it. So I kind of put it off, and then the show was mounting like on Saturday. I was like, oh no. And I made it Friday. I went into the woods behind my house there when I was living in Pittsburgh and found some wood, found some parts of guitar, put it together, and got it done, took it down. It was hanging above the bar, and he's like, oh man, the show looked, a lot of really great Pittsburgh artists were in it. And then I looked, and there were like bugs crawling out of my art. And I went,
performance art.
Jeez. Yeah. But I didn't draw attention. They were looking at the time, and I was like, great, let's look at some other art, man. And these like centipedes and I'm like, I guess it's pretty fresh. It was really fresh. But
I mean, people sometimes say, you know, is it the person who chooses the art, or is it the art that chooses the person? You got an opinion on that?
Is it what? Is it people? That's a riddle. Wait, is it the art that chooses the people, or the people that choose the art? You mean when a buyer, or when you do with the art you do? The buyer. So the buyer. So when somebody walks through here, right, and they're looking at arguably thousands of pieces here, maybe there's a lot. Yeah,
there's a lot here
stacked. Yeah,
but they're gonna look at 1,000. All of a sudden they're gonna be like, oh, this one.
Yeah.
But it's the artwork that might choose the person, right? It's the subject. It's the feel. It's the color that's my opinion. But it's just a weird question. Does the artwork choose a person, or the person choose the artwork?
You know, I think the art has to speak to them, like has to pop somehow.
Yeah.
But then the other side of it is people will sometimes say, what's happening here? What's going on? Like I might explain something, what's behind the art. And sometimes the art, I don't know if it's all artists, but sometimes I don't even know till it's finished what it's about. You know, you do it and then you're like, oh, that's what's happening there, because you got out of your way and you kind of let it happen. And then you go, oh, now I know what it is. But, and so I'll explain to people. And like I had an example was, it's not here anymore, but it was a thing called, what was it called? Midnight Serenade. I'm sorry. Midnight Serenade was a piece that I explained on camera and really connected with a buyer, the story, what it was about, and that was, I think, the connection that she really got to her, and she bought it online, didn't see it here. So sometimes it is the stories, or what really is the background, how that happened, and I mean, like this one up there that's kind of a little fun piece. I like it. It's called Clown Dad. It's green. It's the little.
Oh, that one right over there.
Yeah, and it's like I just had this thought of a dad who's a clown, and he's because my kids always liked Ringling. We had just gotten back from Ringling down in Florida, and I was like, geez, that's someone's dad, that clown. So I started thinking, like, when do you turn the clown thing off, or are you a clown dad? And so that thought like made me go, to the piece. So it makes me laugh. And so somebody somewhere will get that and go, clowns, they scare me, yes, but I get that. My dad was a clown, or something will connect that way. I think. I don't know.
And you're posing a good question, right? At what point does Dad the clown, or is it
Yeah, he might be like, go get to sleep here. I can't believe you don't clean up. Then he's got to go, hey, everybody. He becomes like, well, quick clown story. Another Pittsburgh story. Yeah. There was a guy, when we lived in Pittsburgh there, across the street, there was a guy that worked at the post office, which already sounds bad. Yeah. I don't want to offend any people that work at post offices, but Bukowski worked at a post office. Well, that didn't work out either. But he was Weeby the Clown. His name was Wally Beck. And he would go Weeby the Clown. And so he was always like, you'd see him like, I'd go, hey, Weeby. When he was dressed as clown, he'd be like, hey, Tom, how's it going? And but when you talk to him normally, he'd be like, hey, but he would be Weeby. So one day I look out and Weeby's in the middle of the street, half Weeby. He had the clown makeup on the hair, but just a t-shirt, and like he was half dressed, right? And I go, wow. I thought I better address him as Weeby because he's more Weeby than Wally. Yeah. And he's sitting in the middle of the road, like looking, and I go, hey, what's going on, Weeby? And he goes, they stole my car. And I went, oh no, not a clown car, a real car, And I said, 10
of his friends.
10 of his friends. They stole, all my friends were in there. But no, I go, oh my gosh, he had a Cadillac. And I went, oh, and I remember telling my wife, I go, I got to go see what's going on, with Weeby. Weeby looks distraught. And so he's like, man, that's my car. I go, I'm sorry, Weeby. I go, well, maybe they'll find it. Maybe they'll, and he goes, I know where it is. I go, where? And he goes, right behind their house. The neighbor stole it. And I went, this is terrible. I go, you going to go ask them to? And he goes, no, they're drug dealers. Oh, damn it. And he just like walked back in the house, and I went, wow. So yeah, so that's a real clown story. That's like not the story you hear normally.
Yeah, I mean, where does one start and the next one end, right?
Yeah. It was a sad clown tale.
Sad clown, and he was what was it, Weepy or
Weeby? Like Wally Beck, Weeby.
Oh, Weeby.
Weeby.
But he used the voice while sitting on the street.
Yeah, he was standing there because he was half Weeby. It wasn't like,
he couldn't just let it
go. No.
He couldn't break character.
He was in the wig and the hair and the thing. God damn it. Yeah. He got upset. I never heard Weeby swear. Oh, damn. He's like, damn it. And he walked forlorn. But he had regular shoes, slippers. He didn't have his.
He didn't have big clown shoes?
No.
He was getting ready as
Yeah.
baby
And he
ran
looked out. He's
That's
probably Carol, his wife, went, Wally. He's like, Weeby, or Weeby. Your car's not there. What? Oh no! And that's why he went on, and then he saw it. He saw it in the back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have clown stories of not traditional. So I thought of clown dad. Like that's not Weeby exactly because Weeby had, But I might do a Weeby. Weeby would be a good painting.
That would be a good
With his
painting.
car.
Did he get another car?
Did he get his caddy back? Do you know? Who knows?
I mean, I don't think a clown approaching a drug dealers. I think.
See what's funny. The other part of the story was I laughed at it. I went, God, come on, the neighbors. And then like a month later, this is the continuation of that story. He didn't get, for some reason, the car, he might have got it back. I think it was wrecked. It was in bad shape. So insurance, because he didn't get that same car back. I don't remember that. But 3 weeks later, I'm there and my garbage cans were gone and they were in front of the drug dealers. And I went, oh man. So they got me.
They got your cans too?
They got my cans. And they did what they wanted because they were drug dealers. But here's, I went, oh man, it's like 3 weeks later. And I go, and my wife goes, what's up? I got weebied. I didn't think of that. But it is like, I did get weebied. And like, I look over and I go, our cans are over there. And she goes, well, go get them. And I went, well,
you go get them.
I go, well, and she goes, and then she did the thing that no guy wants to hear. Is like, be a man and go get the cans. And I went, okay, all right, I'll be right back. And I'm walking, I'm like sweating because I know these guys, they don't come out in the day. Yeah. They usually people go in and out, and so I went over and I was like, oh man, they were my cans because they had a big M on them. And I'm like, oh. And the door goes, ah! And it had a chain. And he goes, what? And I went, oh, hi. And I thought I better talk fast because he's going to shoot or something. And I went, hi, I'm Tom across the street. And I think maybe, I don't know, this is probably like crazy, but I think my cans they possibly ended up there. I'm really, really sorry. The door goes, and I went, oh my God. And he opens it up and he goes, oh, I'm sorry. He goes, are those your cans? He goes, I'm sorry, they were rolling down the street because of the wind, I guess. And I didn't know. So we just put some stuff. He goes, let me just help you. And he's helping me take the cans. And Denise is looking out the window. And as I'm walking back, I'm like, I got my cans. Oh, I got my cans. All right. Yeah, I was a tough guy. I didn't tell her that the guy was actually a nice drug dealer. And I thought maybe, Weeby's probably like, why did he ask me my car? That prick, Tom. Hey, that's a Pittsburgh accent. That prick, Tom.
Go downtown.
Yeah. Oh my God. Why don't you skip my car? Next door, my car was stolen. You jag off. Yeah, it was true story. That's 100%. It was like, and he did. Carol, his wife. I don't know what the whole world talking about this stuff. Sorry, I hope this is interesting to anybody. But it's like, it is kind of art though. It does tie in. It's it all ties in. But he later, she did ask me. She said, did you? Because I went over. Carol was not. They collected clowns, and she was an odd person who had multiple. Married a clown. So they clown figurines, exactly, Beth. And she had this. I've never seen this in my life. Multiple scanners, and see, like you'd walk into the house and be like, multiple, and so you'd see clown things, and I was there talking about something, and she invited me in. I was afraid to drink any of their water, any glass. I don't know what clown hygiene. I don't know what's happening there.
Yeah.
And but she said, oh, those drug dealers. You talked to those drug dealers, and I said, yeah, well, yes, not about the car though. I didn't ask about Weeby's car. I said they took my cans. She goes, oh, because we don't ever talk to them because they're drug dealers. You don't know if they're going to shoot you in the head or something. And I went, exactly. But I took the chance, Carol, to get my cans back. And if I'm ever talking to them again, I'll ask about the car. And that's when I think she said, Screw that car.
So
Screw that car.
the question is,
Yeah.
if she was a clown collector,
Yeah.
was Weeby already a clown when she married him, and so he was like her live action?
Whoa, there's a whole fetish thing
Yeah,
there.
there's
a whole.
there's something going on there.
She's like, oh my God, I hope someday I meet a clown. I would love to marry a clown someday with a Cadillac.
my
You're
dad's
just in luck. I got a Cadillac and I'm a clown who also delivers mail.
my dad's family's from Pittsburgh, and
Where about in Pittsburgh?
There was Bethel Park, Monongahela.
Yeah. Oh,
and,
wow.
and then like the crazy California. Or it's on the University of California?
Yeah,
in Pennsylvania.
University of
California.
University of California.
Yeah, I mean, like it is confusing, but you completely nailed that.
Well, listen, I have a lot of friends there, and the town's amazing, but that accent is just, it's amazing because you can't really even hide it. Even if I've met people, well, even when I moved here, they'd say, what's your name? I go, Tom. They're like, Tom. Are you from Pittsburgh? So I think I have a Pittsburgh accent. And, but occasionally you'll see someone like on the West Coast, like my kids live out there, and they'll be like, hey, it's nice to meet you. So listen, and I'm like, hey, you from Pittsburgh? Like, it's very subtle. It's like, yeah, I'm living down here in Redondo Beach. Redondo? Are you from? He goes, yeah, how'd you know, dude? I go, oh, well, I'm just taking a guess. That's not a Redondo Beach accent. That's nowhere near SoCal. It's like, yeah, oh my God, you're from Pittsburgh. And then it comes deeper, but usually it can be very subtle. But you can hear it with a. People are learning a lot here about accents and about.
Yeah, have you done any work of Pittsburgh? Do you have any like now?
Yeah, man.
Listen, this was work that was inspired by Pittsburgh, or.
Yeah, I mean, well,
you grabbed stuff out of Pennsylvania, so this is live.
That's Pennsylvania.
This is live Pennsylvania.
But it's like a lot of the older stuff was all, the puppets were all, that whole puppet stuff was all Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
The thing about Pittsburgh, and which I love about this area, is industrial. When I first got to Pittsburgh, the 80s and 90s were like decay and wonderful. The films I did at the time down there. Well, an example was we were shooting there in the Strip District, and we were doing something. And at the time, I had like really long hair and a beard. I was already like, cop pulls up, and I go, yeah, just doing a student film. I mean, I didn't look like a student. I mean, I looked like a degenerate, but it was like, Pittsburgh, because I was part of the Pittsburgh filmmakers, and I actually taught there a short while. So I used the student thing. Yeah. Student. And I had almost looked like my actors looked like they were homeless people or just had problems. Every actor that was, and so I had a guy lying down, and we're shooting this thing, and the cop goes, hey, this is, you don't want to go in this building here. I go, and he goes, pulled out some just junkies and some dead guys, just filled with just bad news, man. Don't go in there. And I go, oh, we're not. We're just out here, just on the outside. So then the years later, I go back there, and those are all like high-priced condominiums. Like that place was a decayed, beautiful backdrop for the films that I like to do. I had this concept, not concept, but it was almost like a theory of when I was pitching stuff in LA for like comedy or whatever things. And I would always say, I want to shoot it in Pittsburgh because I was living there. And they're like, why? I go, well, first of all, I said, if you have like a character and they're like, they don't need to be a Pittsburgh character, but they're like, man, we could do it, man. We can make it happen. And the background is a decayed building. That contrast is kind of comedy. Yeah. You put that same character, like, we can really make it happen. And there's palm trees. That's not funny. Yeah. I said, so the backgrounds become part of the comedy and because the contrast. And decay is a lot funnier than beauty. The ocean, there's not a lot of comedy there.
Not as funny.
It's not as funny as like a river that's got like a floating dead rat or something, or someone just. But I was working out there and doing a lot of this kind of pitch stuff and TV stuff, and we were just about ready to move there. I had an offer to work on a show, and I remember like it was on a Paramount lot, and it was like offered me this work to stay there, and I'd move the family out, and I remember being in these meetings going, everything was just not funny. Like, but yet everyone's laughing. They're all like, like someone go like, well, then it was like a double kick standard, right? And then, and I remember going, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. So then I was like, okay, great, guys. So I got, and I remember like pulling out of the Paramount lot onto Melrose, like, yeah! And I called my wife. She goes, what are you gonna do? I'm like, I'm not taking this job. Yeah. I said, I don't want to work with these people. And I remember it was like 75 degrees. I flew back into Pittsburgh, and it was 10 degrees in Pittsburgh. And I flew into Pittsburgh Airport, and I'm on one of those like walker things, the
people movers.
Yeah, the people movers. And I'm going, it's like 11 at night. And I see this Pittsburgh guy cleaning the railing. He's just like cleaning the railing. And there was another woman another cleaning woman. And she goes, what are you trying to do? Like rub the brass off of it? Just don't make a career out of that. And he goes, hey, you stay out of my business. I ain't over here. And I thought, and I just burst out laughing. And I thought, oh, this is comedy.
Yeah.
This is real. This is like, it was inspirational to me. So when you say, did you some of that work? It's like, yeah, I think a lot of the puppets, a lot of comedy, it came out of just decay and the rust belt and the, I don't want to say too much, but I'm working on something actually right now. I'm working on a piece that's, it's early, but it really takes place in Youngstown. And it's like, and I'm talking to these guys, they're all LA guys. And I'm talking about Youngstown and Girard, and it's so localized. And, and the one guy, owns a hubcap factory there, and he's got this, and they're Ohio guys, like Youngstown, borderline Pittsburgh, they think that's a big city. It's a bridge town between Cleveland and Pittsburgh. And it's sort of like these, and I just find great comedy in that and great characters.
Yeah.
And they get it. And they're like, write what you want. And I said, listen, man, if this works, it's fantastic because there's nothing like that. I go, we don't need more shows about New York and LA. We've done it. But a show about this area, Youngstown, Cleveland, it's like, and just being really localized, I think there's just a lot of, so that's a long answer to your one little question about what came out of Pittsburgh but I find the same in Cleveland. It's just, it's just the realness.
Yeah. I've got a follow-up to that.
Okay. There's a follow-up. Hey, how long is this running? You're gonna have to make an edit.
I just want to give a little bit of a different background. And,
you're gonna make edits here.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of work here, and folks can hear us like we're talking right into the microphone as Beth is kind of as Beth is kind of scanning here.
Beth's doing all the work.
She's doing all the work.
Oh,
she's got a good eye.
I hope you get like some drink or food or something after this. A cigar, wine, ice cream. Where do you guys like? What's your favorite ice cream in Cleveland?
No, are you
allowed to make a plug for it?
No, I'm not an ice cream eater. I actually like Dairy King. We also like East Coast custard.
East Coast custard.
Right there on Parma Heights, right over there. Yeah, Pearl by Yorktown Lane.
All right.
Yeah,
that's what.
The Shake Shop.
Shake Shop, right there on like 82.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so those are our go-tos.
All right, I probably shouldn't eat ice cream right now, but
yeah,
I love it.
Okay, so my question,
go ahead.
My follow-up question is this, and is this a good place to pause right here, like in this space? Let's let Beth continue to scan some of these work. In terms of.
Sorry, that went long. You can cut this, though. You can cut it.
Yeah, I mean, we can cut it if we need to, but I like long. People like. I mean, listen, they could fast forward a couple minutes if they want to get to more art. Yeah. But I think that hearing like, what did you pick up from Pittsburgh? And when I hear about the ninth hole, like the fight ninth hole,
this was at the Rife Gallery. This piece.
Oh, nice. This is
It's a coup d'état. It was at it was kind of one of those pieces that was like an improv piece, and then
Yeah.
I figured out what it meant after.
Mm.
But it was like I had no concept of where it was going to go.
Where it was going to go. It just came.
Yeah.
But the filter, like you have a filter, right? And it's Tom. It's the Megalis filter, right? And you are extracting things, whether it's comedy, saying it against the background, or these people that are cleaning the rails in the airport, or it's the ninth hole fight, and you're like, I got to put that away because at some point it's going to come out in a piece or a skit or a film or a puppet.
You just, you don't know, right?
You don't know.
And you can't force that either.
Yeah.
It has to happen. Like whatever way it's going to happen. And you don't know.
Yeah.
And it may never happen, or you don't know it happens, right?
Right. You don't know what happens, but it comes out, right?
Yeah. It's, that's an interesting thing. Yeah. The filter. I like that.
The filter.
I might need, can I get a little water? You don't have any water.
We'll walk over there. But,
I mean, you don't have any water. I feel bad.
No, we are absolutely good. As we are peeking over in this direction, because this looks like this is the magic space, right? This is where
I work a lot here until I get some big stuff over there. Then I clear that area.
Yes. And you carve right into wood. You paint. I see compressors. I see.
You have to have the stuff like that's the thing. It's like it's got to be here.
Yeah.
Like at one point, this is great. My wife goes, "We should get a like a Winnebago or something and go cross country." And I guess all people at one point when their kids move out, they're like, "Let's just dump the house and get her." And I go,
"Get on the road."
I go, unless I can pull a 2,500 square foot studio trailer.
Yeah.
How's that possible?
Yeah.
And I mean, you can work small, but I like to have power tools, a Dremel, so I can carve, and it has to be out.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. If it's not out, sometimes you don't use it.
Yeah.
It's like, where's my Dremel? That's another thing. It's like stations. So stuff is out. And I can carve, paint, and they're kind of basic tools. None of these are high end. I think my bandsaw, given to me by the great Dave Kreider, another Cleveland great artist.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. Gave me some 1945. He goes, "Hey, you want that?" I'm like, "That's fantastic." He goes, "Well, it's not new, but it's solid." And I'm like, It's beautiful. I mean, it's kind of an Art Deco saw from the 40s. So they're not sexy tools, but you don't need that, man.
Yeah.
You don't need that, man. I have like grinders. I burn them out sometimes because I sort of hand hold them and just and then it's a little I've got a grinder once got away from me, just ripped my pants and caught it, and I'm like, wow, this is.
Serious, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a scary place.
You can lose an ear like that.
Yeah,
right?
you can lose it. Yeah, you can. Yeah, exactly. And one guy did, and we didn't learn, did we?
We didn't learn.
That one guy. So you need tools.
So what I'm going to say is, because there might be folks that kind of tune in late. Tune in late. And what we wanted to do is make sure that here on Facebook, right? If you watch this on YouTube, you probably already lost the opportunity to win this. But if you're on Facebook and you share the video, we know it. And then next week, I think we're meeting with Splice Cream Truck, because we lost the first interview. So we're going back with Ben, the Splice Cream Truck.
Splice Cream Truck. That's all. I can't even say that.
I know. It's the Splice Cream Truck.
Splice Cream.
But next week, if you share, your name is going to be put into the drawing, and you have the opportunity to win this piece. This is also hand touched and signed.
Yeah. So it's a giclée that's hand touched. Exactly. I've kind of penciled into it, put a little bit of paint. That's how I work the hand, just to paint around. And so it's kind of another original.
Yeah.
And share and great things will happen.
Yeah. Now,
isn't that what we're all supposed to do? Aren't we all supposed to share?
Oh yeah.
And connect, and that's what's great. I mean, some of the people that I've met in this town. You mentioned a few of them, like Gotti, and Gotti gave me some drumsticks that I put into art.
Yeah.
And he, just giving great people that are like, we're all in this together.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all connected, man,
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. We appreciate you sliding that door, letting not only Beth and I into your space, but also letting our community into your space.
Oh yeah, man.
As we're kind of like rounding third and, coming in for that face forward sliding into home base. And we're going to go ahead and put these, this out there too. Where do people find your work or your socials or like?
Oh, I don't believe in social media at all. I'm against it. Did I tell you I was Amish? No, I'm not Amish. I have nothing against the Amish. I get my wood from the Amish. They're good people, and they get a kick when I show them the art that I make. Sometimes from the wood I carve. I'll get like live edge wood from the Amish country, which is amazing. And sometimes I show them, and they go like, "Look at that."
That's meet Elizabeth Miller.
Yeah, she's available there for you. I go, well, I'm kind of married. Well, that hasn't stopped me. I go, wait a minute, what? Yeah, it's a secret, secret. But anyway, well, wait a minute. Yeah, TomMegalis.com. TomMegalis.com. TomMegalis. It's not, .com, and at Tom Megalis on Instagram. Tom Megalis art. Where's that? Maybe TikTok. Who goes on TikTok? Some people do. I use TikTok. I mean, I like it. I don't know if people like.
I like your TikTok.
Really? All right. I mean, I do some of it. And then I have YouTube. Tom Megalis art on YouTube. There's a lot of YouTube channels, but I put some stuff on there.
Yeah.
Some longer things. And then what else? LinkedIn. You go on LinkedIn?
Rarely.
Yeah, Tom Megalis on LinkedIn. So all of it's my name on LinkedIn. But yeah, LinkedIn is pretty good too. I like them all, man. I like all the social medias.
2024. So we're date stamping this. This is we're in June 2024. We just got out of a really hot stretch here in Cleveland, Ohio. Do you have anything? We got maybe a little teaser about what might be happening, as for an upcoming project. 2024, 2025. What might be happening?
Possibly more restaurant stuff. Chula is a great restaurant, as you know. They're expanding. I did their Westlake store. We'll see. I think maybe doing this. I'm expanding more of the commission stuff. Yeah. Like I'm doing this book cover right now. That's coming up. Which is really cool. Look for it. It's Alex Rust. And this is a young fella who decided to leave his sort of broker job in Chicago and buy a sailboat and sail across the world after reading Sailing for Dummies. And he did it. And he was young. A sense of adventure. He died very young, sadly, but he was an adventure, adrenaline, amazing. So I'm doing this book cover. I'll show more of that. It's pretty exciting, and some other commission work for some people that find me. So that's increasing, which I like. And then show wise, stay tuned. Might be having one here.
Oh.
And there's also another one that we're talking about too. Locally over in Old Brooklyn area at that Metropolitan Coffee. It's going to be an interesting little show there.
Yeah.
Look for that one. Kreider and myself. A little combination. Nice. Little Cleveland combination, but that'll be an event. I'll invite you guys.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, because it could be really cool. That's coming up in the fall. So and then next year, I used to be with some galleries. Look into I kind of that's a whole other world. You know what I mean? And I've done it. And, my kids are out in Palm Springs. So we're, looking to expand more of the presence there. But you got to be cautious of that because we have the internet now and we're connected and people can find you.
Yeah.
But that said, you've now been here. I want to get your opinion. How does this translate when you see it online compared to live?
It is online.
Yeah.
Captures your attention. In person, grabs you and shakes you around the neck, right? That's the way I see it. So like I know what pieces come out, what pieces are choosing me.
Yeah.
When I'm on, your website. But when I'm here, I'm like, it's a whole different, because the size of it, the color, the in person, the way that it's breathing, life it's different in person. And but online captures your attention.
Well, then there you go. So it works, but you asked me at like 20, 24, 25. I do think I want to get back into some gallery stuff, because I would actually be cool to have my own. I thought about that too, locally, my own gallery. But I want a presence where people can walk in, not necessarily like this. This is a different environment. This could be overwhelming or irritate people. So in a gallery you can let it breathe.
Yeah,
a few pieces that. So we're looking to do that. I'm actively looking to find a couple galleries. Maybe West Coast and in around here, and where my stuff works. It's got to work. Yeah. It's got to feel right in it.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll tell you,
it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
No one's art is for everybody.
Yeah.
That's why if you want to do art and do your own thing.
Yeah, that's great advice. I know that there's several thousand people that are going to watch this interview, and those are several thousand, and they have connections out to galleries all over the place.
No Amish? No Amish people watching this though.
Maybe Mennonite.
Mennonites.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe some Mennonites.
That is true. Yes, I am. Actively looking for that in this coming year. So I'm putting that out there.
Yeah. So guys, share that out to the galleries, right? Because that's where we can really help each other, right?
And it is mostly for that experience of people walking in and seeing it
in person,
and not. It is a different experience. Like there's a couple pieces that were back there. The coup d'etat was it? A couple pieces, and that one there at the Rife Gallery in Columbus. And boy, the experience of it being in a gallery way different than it being here.
Yeah,
because it's isolated and you can see it, look at it, and kind of envision how it may work in your space. Yeah. So I'm kind of So anyway, I'm putting that out there. Thanks, Roger. Appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you guys joining us. Join us next week. Share away. And Tom, thank you for bringing us in your space. What a great, invigorating way to spend June 2024.
I didn't give you a headache, did I?
No.
Okay, good, man. You could take it, man.